Does this sound like you? You have done all the decluttering. You've gone through everywhere in your home. You've minimized all your stuff as much as you can. You've redecorated. You've changed the furniture. It looks great, but you're still really frustrated with your home. It still doesn't suit you. It doesn't fit your needs. And you feel like swinging a sledgehammer at it. It's just not working. What do you do? So today, I'm going to talk with you about what you can do if decluttering has not been the answer to fixing your home. What do you need to do? What can you do next? And what I find is that homes are basically, on the whole, they are built as a generic house for just any person. And the thing is that you are not a generic any person. You are uniquely you, and you have your own specific preferences. And if your home is feeling like a struggle to live in, then it's not meeting your preferences for the way that you want to live your life. And that means that you need to do some more redesigning of your home, but not of the way it looks, but of the actual structure of your home, the types of rooms, the amount of rooms, the way that the spaces function, the way that they interact with you and your life, how you are supported in being able to live your life in the way that you want to live. And that is something that your home can restrict you and limit you from doing. So if you have a kitchen that is far too small for anything but one person to use at a time, then it's not going to be a kitchen where you can bring your kids in safely and teach them how to cook, for example, or involve them. I have had many clients whose kitchens have been too small, and that's been a specific requirement of theirs, that they want to be able to cook together as a family. I had a couple I worked with a couple of years ago where what they found was the kitchen was too small for both of them to be in the same space at the same time. And so what they found was that although they wanted to spend that time together, they would take it in turns to cook dinner, and then they would eat together. But whilst one was cooking the dinner, the other one had to be in another room. And so they felt very separated, and they didn't feel like they were able to spend as much time together as they would have liked to have spent. And so in that way, their home was just not suiting them. There are many, many, many different ways that your home may not suit the way that you would prefer to live your life. Perhaps your hallway is far too small for your buggy and your coats and all the kids' backpacks and stuff for school. Maybe you like to cycle, but you don't have anywhere to cycle. So what do you do with your bikes if you're pulling them through the house all the time, or you've got nowhere to store them securely, or it's just awkward to get them through, or they're in the way, they're in the hall and you're trying to get past them, they're just knocking your shins and they're awkward for you. Maybe your bedrooms are not working. Maybe your kids' bedrooms are unequal sizes and you feel like they don't feel, well, a lot of kids have that. Like, who's your favorite? Well, the child who's got the bigger bedroom can easily feel like they're the favorite one. And you don't necessarily want that to be the case, that either of them feel hard done by. There are so many ways in which your home can sort of restrict, limit, affect your relationships with the other people that you share your home with, or that you want to share your home with, friends and family who might be visiting. And this is a really a big problem for many people, especially when you're living in a home that has kind of been generically designed. So what do I mean by a generically designed home? Is where developers tend to speculatively build a whole load of houses, and they build on the basis of a sort of target market, and that target market may be family of 2.4 kids, and they need a kitchen and a bathroom and a living room and a couple of bedrooms, well, 3 bedrooms maybe, and that's it. Maybe that's it. If it's like a starter home market, that's maybe all they'll do. Or maybe it's an executive home and they'll have a utility room, and they'll have a few extra bits and pieces, maybe an ensuite to the master bedroom, those sorts of things. So these generic approaches to house design are what you will find if you look at the vast majority of houses, because there are very few houses really as a percentage that have been designed specifically for an individual or a particular group of a family group and what they specifically require. And so what you'll find is with like lots of Victorian terraces or 1930s semis or whatever era, whatever period of time your home was built, it will have been built from the developer thinking, well, what does my target market want? What can I build that is the most cost effective, which means the minimum amount of stuff that's going to suit like a generic idea of what that market is. And then you're going to buy that property and it's going to reflect, say, a Victorian home is going to have a very different layout and design to a 1930s semi, because they're built at different eras for people with different social hierarchy, different kind of cultural ideas, and those, you know, so the Victorian terrace would, for example, have the potentially they would have had, you know, housekeeper or someone who came in and helped and did the cooking or the cleaning or the laundry and had some kind of home help. And those sorts of functional spaces like the kitchen and the utility type space would be darker, at the back of the house, less pleasant spaces to be in. Whereas those spaces that were for the family use and for more show, like the dining room and the parlor and things like that, they would be more at the front of the house with nicer, larger windows. And these kinds of layouts that would really reflect the sort of social hierarchy, the kind of ways that those households would function. And the reality is that in these days, we don't live like the Victorians did. And so a Victorian terrace now just does not suit most people's way of life. In a similar way, in 1930s semi also doesn't suit most people's way of life, with those tiny designs for the kitchens that are based on the Margherita shutter, very compact kitchen, very efficient kitchens in terms of their designs, so you don't have to move around too much, but they're not very good for having a family space and everybody getting involved in cooking together. So that's where you got these generic house types that built at different eras to suit different specific market ideas for those developers who built them on a speculative basis. They built them without a particular person or family in mind who was going to buy them. And they're built based on the era, the period of time, the cultural and the social hierarchies of that time. And that means that if you're living in a house like that, you can declutter, you can redecorate, change the furniture as much as you like. But if the actual structure of the house doesn't work for you, it's still going to have the potential to restrict and define and limit your life and the way you're able to live. And that's where what you need to start to do then is to reflect on how it is that you actually want to live. Because once you've lived in a house like that for a long time, and many of us have grown up in a house that was built at a different era for a different type of family to the one you have now, then we've kind of got used to that house and we have adapted ourselves to suit the house, rather than having a house that actually suits us and supports us and makes it possible for us to live in the way that actually we want to live. So the way to overcome that and make your home actually suit you is to start to consider, how do you want to live? First of all, it's kind of like design your ideal life. And then you need to start to think about, well, what about my home can I adjust, adapt, mold to make it possible for me to live my ideal life, rather than this is my house, how are we going to use these spaces, and how can we live in this space? It's looking at the other way. So it's basically like taking control back from your home, stopping your home from defining your life, and actually looking at your life and using your ideal life to then define your home, and use that as the driver for deciding what it is your home needs to look like, what shape it needs to be, how many rooms, what configuration of rooms, what room goes next to which, what, you know, how are they adjacent, what's the adjacencies of each of those rooms, like which one goes next to which one, how are they connected. These are the sorts of things that need to be based on the way that you live your life and how you want to do that. And so rather than you having to put up with and sort of shoehorn yourself into your house. I hope this has made sense. If you would like some help for free to get started on this process, I have a checklist called Design Your Home Vision Checklist, and I'll pop the link for that in the description. You can get that all from the banner of my channel. You can see there are links on my channel for that, and I'll make sure it's in the description as well, or in the chat, in the comments. If you'd like to get hold of that, it's completely free, and you can sign up for that and get that download and start to think about this as a slightly different approach to take for your home design. It's to look at your life first and then use that to define your home. And this is what you can do if you've tried everything else. You've tried decluttering, you've tried redecorating, you've tried changing up all the furniture. This is what you need to do next. Look at, maybe you need to take out a wall or move a door. It doesn't have to be huge changes, but these physical structural changes to your home, redesigning the actual architecture of your home, not just the interior design, and not not the management of the space and the stuff that you have in it. It's more fundamental and deeper than that. And this is what the Design Your Home Vision Checklist will help you to start to do. I hope this was useful and it's made a lot of sense to you. Comment below if you have had an aha from this, what that aha is, and what you're planning to do to your home. Speak to you soon. Bye for now.